Get
Jacob?
started. Hey
Yeah.
Rachel, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
We can get started. You can just explain kind of a little bit maybe about yourself and what you do here at Breakaway.
Yeah. So my name is Rachel Thweet, and I work for Breakaway Ministries. My title is Associate Director of Strategic Partnerships. So what that really means is anyone outside of Breakaway, namely fundraising, is a huge part of my job. Yeah.
Awesome. So what is Breakaway's mission and vision?
Yeah, so our mission is that we would help equip every college student to take either their first or next step with Jesus Christ. And so we do that through a variety of ways, but what we really focus on is our core values, some of those being stewards, so being stewards of what we've been given by donors, namely, and by the Lord. We're also dependent people, so what that looks like is that we know that we don't get anything without it coming from the Lord, that we depend on the Lord first above all things. Another core value of ours is pace setters, and so we want to set the pace in everything we do. We want to be excellent in how we set up tables in the concourse on Tuesday nights, and how I handle donor relations, and how I even interact with them, just being a pace setter in everything that we do. We also want to be storytellers, and so what that means is we want to tell stories of what God's doing at Breakaway. God's doing amazing things every single Tuesday night through students, and we want to tell those stories to other people because they're worth being told. It's incredible. And lastly, our last core value is family-minded, and so that's one of my favorite ones because it really embodies what Breakaway is about, that we're, especially our core people, so our volunteers and team leaders and staff, that we are family-minded in how we interact with each other and how we can have open and honest conversations, but we can also work together towards a cause for bringing people to know Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So has the mission and vision kind of played a super important role in your work, or is it an afterthought?
No, I would say it's a super important thing at Breakaway. Our leader, TA, our executive director, he actually encouraged all of our staff to take a core value every single week and really focus on it. And that's been really helpful for me to not just get bogged in the day-to-day tasks of Breakaway, but really think through, okay, how can I be dependent this week? How can I be family-minded and go have coffee with a college student or lunch and really embody those core values. So I would say it's definitely a huge priority here.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really good. So kind of what factors in the environment, or what are currently some of the biggest obstacles for Breakaway, just like moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's a great question. I would say one of our biggest obstacles is the financial piece. I mean, that's also the biggest thing on my mind. Is I would say that's an obstacle, is that we have a budget we have to raise every single year, like many nonprofits, if not all nonprofits should be doing that. So I would say that's an obstacle, just to keep people encouraged and keep people interested in how to give and give for the vision of Breakaway, not because they know TA really well or know me really well, but for the vision of advancing the gospel. So I would say that's definitely an obstacle, but also trying to reach every single student on campus. That's one of our missions, is to reach every single student with the gospel. And so there's 66,000 students at A&M alone, not including Glenn and Brian. And so that's a huge obstacle too, of how do we do that? How do we market well? How do we promote well?
Yeah, no, that's really good. So we talked kind of earlier about like business level strategies. So out of some of the generic business level strategies, such as like cost leadership or differentiation, which one would you say that Breakaway operates on?
Yeah, I loved when you explained that more to me, because that was really interesting. But I would say Breakaway operates in the differentiation. Yes, thank you. Differentiation business model, because Breakaway offers something unique, just in that we are a Bible study on campus. Like we have opportunity to meet in athletic venues, which is really rare. There's not many churches or any that I've seen meeting on Texas A&M's campus, and so I think that makes us really unique. And I think another thing that separates us apart from any other young adults or college ministry is the Shalom Project. The Shalom Project is where we mobilize students to raise funds every year towards a cause in a 4-week period. And so this year we encourage students to give towards adoption and orphan care, and they were able to raise over $150 or right under $150,000, and so which is incredible. But I think that really separates us apart as well from any other college ministry or church gathering that's happening, or maybe around the world, around the nation. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah.
So since you're like a nonprofit, like, is there intense competition with like other businesses at all, or?
Yeah, that's a good question too. I would say not so much. I think it would be easy for Breakaway to feel competitive with local churches and their college ministries, but in the past, leadership has done a great job of saying, like, hey, we are not the church. We don't want to be a church because we would be a really bad one if we were, and so we want to champion other local churches. So we have a team of volunteers who actually helps champion the local church. And so I would say we're not in conflict with any businesses necessarily, because we're a nonprofit. It's a little different, but I would say, I mean, it's still a business at the end of the day, so I would say it would be easy to get that way with churches, but we haven't seen that, thankfully.
Yeah, that's awesome. So are there any hopes to diversify Breakaway more into like different markets or anything, or like with donor fundraising?
Yeah, so I think specifically with donor fundraising, I would love to diversify more. And so what I've been doing is really thinking strategically of where are our donors location wise. And so we have a lot of donors in Houston and a lot in Dallas. And so we focused a lot in Houston because a lot of our board members are there, but I really want to diversify in a way into Dallas and really into San Antonio. We don't have that many donors in San Antonio. We have a few solid ones, but not a ton. And so I'm trying to diversify our donors and get a larger base of our donors instead of just relying on our Houston people.
Yeah. So what are some of the biggest lessons that you've learned in respect to succeeding in just business and in life?
Yeah, I've learned honestly so much this year. I feel like so many little tidbits and things that just with donor strategy, but I would say overall, leadership-wise, I've really learned the need to be adaptable and to rise to a challenge. I think good leadership puts a challenge in front of you, and you're expected to rise to the occasion. And so I feel like this year, raising a budget is challenging and it is daunting at times, but being adaptable and being flexible and trusting that your people, like trusting you when you're leading a team, or trusting our volunteers that they're going to accomplish the mission, they understand the goals. I think another thing is that vision leaks. That's a huge thing I've learned, is if I'm excited about the Shalom Project, for example, we talked about that a little bit. If I'm super excited about it, I need to be 120% excited, because that trickles down into maybe 50% with our normal everyday student who's going to Breakaway. But 50% is awesome if they're 50% excited about Shalom. So I think those two things, being adaptable and learning that vision leaks and having a vision and then being excited about that vision, have been two things that I've really learned business-wise and personally as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Great, thanks, Ray.